Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. We're on the test server today. Okay, Lady Mikage is the one I'll be testing out and showcasing for you guys whether she's worth it in terms of the book investment, the legendary epic investment, the rares, all of that will be discussed in today's video. So make sure you watch until the end and make your own opinion whether Lady Mikage is worth to go all in as soon as possible. So before we get on to that, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is a sci-fi art style inspired game called Eternal Evolution. This game is a mobile idle RPG featuring gacha and strategy elements. This game can be played anytime and anywhere. It's easy to play and free to play friendly as it has no energy limits. Scan the QR code or use my download link in the description to check out Eternal Evolution, as there's time limited events and a grand ceremony to the new players joining in on the newest server. The big collaboration is with Ghost in the Shell SAC 2045, bringing in the new time traveler heroes to the game. During this collaboration event, players can recruit for unique co-op heroes and participate in time-limited gameplays to win exclusive game items and exclusive co-op trophies. Clear your way through the story challenge mode, and if you can clear the whole thing, you can pick out the unique triple S tier hero called Batu. You can also challenge the collaboration world boss by yourself or with other players, and there's big rewards, achievements, and new tasks every week during this time-limited event. If you are a new player joining in on the newest server and you participate in the grand ceremony, you can also pick out the triple S tier hero called Ravina, as well as other free resources. There's many different game modes within Eternal Evolution, such as the AFK mode to win great rewards with one simple click. There's the PvE battles, 4 different PvP battles, and of course guild content with guild challenges and guild bosses. So what are you waiting for? Download the game right now, use the QR code, or download through my link down below. Right, so if you want to check out Eternal Evolution, make sure you click the link down below in the description, guys. So Lady Mikage, okay, we have no idea whether these epics or rares or even the legendaries will come in terms of some events or tournaments in the future to acquire them quicker and finish off this mythical. The thing is, there's no time limit, so there's no real worry on whether you should really go for it and get Lady Mikage as soon as possible. Her kit doesn't scream, okay, in any way, please use me in X dungeon or X event or X, PvP situation. Her kit looks very good in terms of the use cases that it can have in both different forms. She's a support hero, and with that being said, she does have pretty solid stats in terms of the speed and the base speed that she has when she's fully ascended and leveled up. Okay, she gets to 115 speed if I remember correctly. In terms of her skills, let's go and have a look at the Lady Mikage that I have leveled up, but I have not skilled her up. And the reason is very simple. We are showcasing a mythical champion. The mythical books at the moment are pretty much impossible to get. All right, I have one on my own account on the live servers, and that is because we just won a CVC with personal rewards. It had a mythical book in there, but getting 10 of them to fully invest into a champion might not be something that you want to be doing, especially because Raid is also releasing soon enough. I think by December they'll be releasing the next big content update, and that content update might include something that is like a mythical champion with, again, mythical book requirements that is maybe worth more for that champion instead of Mikage. But enough with that. I've built her out with speed. You look at the base speed of 115 here. These are the stats that I have on her. 303 speed, 352 accuracy. You don't need all of that accuracy if you are using Lady Mikage's aura, which is an accuracy aura for all battles, meaning you can take benefit in that and drop the accuracy in many of your champions. But I still built her in this way just to showcase in terms of having a different aura, maybe a speed aura for some specific situations. You want to be using Lady Mikage. I don't think she is easily accessible. The reason is just a lot of investment in terms of ascensions, in terms of ranking up heroes. You get lots of epics to 50, and then even the legendaries, you got to get them to 60, right? Not just leveling them up, but also ranking them up all the way there. It does cost a lot, but you do get a mythical champion, right? And there's no rush to get it. There's no worry of this going away anytime soon. So I try to build her with some accessible gear, so not extreme speeds, not extreme other stats that I had on her. It didn't try to give her any crit rate or crit damage, as I believe she's mostly suited for her kit, which is basically that ally attack that she has, the ally skill, which is on this form, the basic form. This is the ally skill. Increase attack, increase crit damage. That is pretty solid for everybody. And then attacks with one random ally from the Shadowkin faction. All right, this is very important because you gotta find Shadowkin heroes that you might have and use them for this specific game, you know, encounter that you might be going into, right? Yeah, you can't just put anybody in there and expect this to work, which is unfortunate because I could think many different situations where this would be a lot of fun to use, and even use it, let's say Nut for the Fire Knight. But yeah, this is a pretty strong skill. The shield is very nice, so it gives a shield equal to 10% of this champion's max HP to the ally with the lowest health. We have a big AoE with a decrease in duration of all enemy buffs and ally debuffs, reduce that, and also increase the duration of all enemy debuffs and ally buffs by 1 turn. This is a pretty strong A2. Can be used a lot for, I would say, the clan boss. But in terms of what players who actually managed to get her and the clan boss, I don't think there's, you know, any time a player who is looking to improve his clan boss team and also be able to pick up Lady Mikage. Clan boss has become pretty much a mid-game content in my opinion, and actually picking up that 1 key Ultra Nightmare, or, you know, being able to do at least a 2 key Ultra Nightmare is not out of the possibility with many teams out there, and Lady Mikage is not a requirement for that, so I won't be showcasing her in there. I think she does have a use because of her kit, the ally attack here. There's the A1 with the Shadowkin ally attack in there, but she by no means is a requirement to get that 2 key and 1 key for the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. And then when you change up the forms, she has a sleep, she has a stun as an AoE, which is very strong for controlling opponents, and she has an increased accuracy buff, which is again pretty strong, removes buffs, and can also place a weaken. I love this part here, just adds into her kit. But remember, right, remember that you can also book her out on just the first form, right? You don't need to book both forms. You can book just the one form, which requires 1, 3, 4 books. Not that expensive in terms of getting what you need. You might even get lucky and just get it on here, which I think is the best option out of the 3 skills possible to get booked up. In terms of masteries, I've given her War Master, since I will be attacking with the A1, the A2 maybe, AoE attack, but it's not really a requirement. And then went down the support tree, bigger shields, lasting gifts for the buffs that she applies, also rapid response. We went Lore of Steel, Cycle of Magic for that RNG, since I'm not using her in a speed tune team or anything. And that's pretty much it. I think that Lady Mikage can have some use, but with the Shadowkin champions at the moment, I don't see a very solid option in terms of decisions for that A1 that a possible, you know, Shadowkin champion can provide. So I do have Genshin in the team that I'll showcase you guys right now. Genshin is very, very solid. I thought about champions like Kyoku. Ninja is not something that I want to showcase because basically only a certain percentage of people will have Ninja. Harima I just don't have, but her A1 is pretty solid as well. So overall, there's not many possibilities here that I could see being showcased in terms of that Shadowkin A1. I think a very good choice would be Taragi because he kind of also apply a decreased attack. And then I think it was Sachi that I was looking for. Yeah, because she's got an AoE and a decreased accuracy there, so can be used in stuff like the Hydra, right? The combination of 2 heroes like that. But haven't seen so much of Sachi in the Hydra. Maybe I think it was Wuji. Yeah, perfect veil and counter attack buff. A Wuji that I've seen showcased in the Hydra before. So this might be something that you want to think of. Block buffs, and then you'll have the A1, which will be an AoE in a provoke set. I can see like that combo working very well together. So let's just showcase a part of Lady Mikage, which is her utility, right? So we'll go into stage 104, let's say, of the Doom Tower. I don't see a person who's able to finish off this fusion, which will take a long time, and that person also struggling with the Doom Tower. I don't think this will be there's any chance this happens, okay? Because that person will also be focusing on other stuff instead of just focusing for that one mythical. So her base kit, although pretty solid with attacking all enemies, decreasing the duration, if you start out with this one, you basically missed out on the opportunity to, you know, lock out targets with the stun. And look at this, we decrease the turn meter because of this passive right here, which is at the start of the champion's turn, decreases the turn meter of the enemy with the highest attack by 15%, and that was that Venus right there. And then we can do this skill right here. Attacks all enemies, places a stun debuff for 1 turn. All right, so we'll attack, and place the stun. And look at that, we basically establish control. Then, you know, depending on what kind of champions you're running, you can do all sorts of things and take out the enemies, all right? But that guaranteed stun is what really makes her so good in terms of using her for the Doom Tower, where this specific encounters might require you to have a lot of control over the enemies. And the 3-turn cooldown with that big AoE stun is huge. I can potentially see her also being used with, again, a stun set, just to add on top of that in case, all right, in case you want to have the added opportunity for stunning through maybe your default skill or your other form when she changes out. But it seems like, you know, when you first turn to this different form, you'll be basically stuck there for the duration of this cooldown. But I wonder if she's going to use Metamorphosis or A2 immediately now. So let's put this on auto again. Yeah, she uses the A2. There's the stun. She doesn't use it on priority. So if you want to use the Metamorphosis whenever it's available, then you'll have to set it up on your own. There's the increased accuracy, which definitely helps on top of her, you know, aura if you had her in the leader slot. So, you know, very solid way to control through and push. But like here with this kind of setup, if I had like a defense down on a weekend, right, already on the enemies, I would want to see, all right, I would want to see her using the ally attack skill. But all right, we're buffing up. We're attacking a little bit here. Let's see. I want to change up the forms. Oh, we'll have the burst down here. Boom, look at that. We change the forms now, and then we use the ally attack, and then we'll see my boy Byron there doing his thing and taking out the enemies. Remember, the ally attack order, which I should have done better, would have been ideal to have Byron hit at the end, so he's the last one hitting on all the enemies. There's the A1 there with Razelvard going in for the attack, I believe. I think the best case scenario for using her would either be maybe the Sand Devil, because she has a way to apply sleep debuff on the boss. But again, all her other parts of her kit doesn't really make sense for the Sand Devil, especially the ally attack. The fact that the Sand Devil is pretty much an encounter where you need to tune everything, so it will be very difficult for using her in there. What I think is Fire Knight is a possible scenario for you guys if you're still struggling pushing onto the Fire Knight. I've tested it out up until stage 6. After that, you kind of need other setups and maybe crazier speeds and maybe different champions to make a use of this one. And the reason for this is basically the very high speed of the Fire Knight boss, and also the fact that there's no Shadowkin. If there was a Shadowkin with an A1 with guaranteed freeze, that would have made this very interesting to using Mikage. But let's have a look at this team. This is a double ally attack team utilizing a freeze champion, and of course my boy Nut there, who also does a freeze on his A1. So double freezes, and the ally attack works very well. And the way that we go about round 1 and 2 is basically trying to control with the spider form at the start, and then we have the AI switch out to the normal form once we reach the boss. So we do our big AoE, not AoE, ally attack, all right? The ally attack is what's gonna save you for this one in terms of the usage for Mikage. But honestly, if I'm being honest, it can be the same thing from any other ally attack champion if you're just looking for that ally attack skill, all right? Although there's not many champions out there at the moment that can do a complete team ally attack. So Fire King the Fat is one example, and then Mikage is another example. They're not the only ones, but there's not that many out there. You know, some of them use 3 allies, some of them use 4 other allies. So that is very specific, but doesn't work for, let's say, the Hydra, where you have 6 champions in your team. So here it takes us like a minute. Everybody's built out very heavily, and you know, 300 speed here, 330 speed on Farrakhan, but we reach the boss on a minute 10. And then you'll see the ally attacks coming in. There's the first ally attack, and then here we'll see, I think, Genzin go, right? And then there's the Metamorphosis, there's the ally attack by everybody, and finally Newt goes in there to do his A1, so he decreases the turn meter, right? And now we apply the decreased speed. There's another attack by Newt there to reduce the turn meter. Basically, we have established control here. Newt will apply his A3 next, I believe, and start dropping down the boss. Boom, boom, boom. All right, that's pretty solid. The decreased speed debuff is very strong here. So if I had double Newt, maybe this team would have been way better. But we're going in there, and whenever she uses this form right here, Genzen also goes in there for the attack and does a pretty solid damage there. He did like a triple 20k hit plus 90k from Giant Slayer that I saw. So it was a pretty solid deal of damage. And in about 2 minutes 20, we managed to take it down. So there's obviously use cases here for Lady Mikage. And if you have the champions, you have the gear, you can definitely build out a solid team that can farm Fire Knight stage 6, which is still okay. It's like a 3% for a mythical, right? Mythical item. So still pretty solid, but like if I show you guys the team right now, I've showcased it before, like this exact team, but instead of Lady Mikage, I had a different ally attacker, I believe. Yeah, I think it was the same kind of team, but different ally attacker used in this one. So look at this. These are like the things that you need to do, and lock out Metamorph. You use it once to switch out to spider form, and then you lock out Metamorph so you don't use it, and then specifically use it again on the round 3 so she turns into the ally attack form, right? The basic human form. And the same thing with like your ally attacker, your other ally attacker, you save that beat down, that ally attack skill again, and only use it once you reach to the boss. And your speeds need to be very high for this kind of setup. So 280 speed, 261 crit damage, and that is with also the no, the area bonuses don't even work here. Don't even work for the for the test server. So that's unfortunate. But look at that, 287, then 271 for Newt here. So very high speeds, very high requirements with everything. And with Lady Mikage there in the lead, I could have dropped the accuracy here a lot, and it would benefit my whole team. But I already had Newt, who also has an accuracy, but it's accuracy aura, but it's better to have him on the last position when you're doing ally attacks, because you want him to be the last one hitting the boss in case the shield drops, and you want that, you know, freeze effect that he does on the A1 to be applied on the boss. So that's it for Lady Mikage, guys. This showcase was pretty good. I think she is quite a cool champion, but the thing is, I personally wouldn't invest my mythical books on her just yet. I would wait it out. You can still use her, no doubt. You can still use her. The cooldowns, especially on this stun skill, is still very, very solid. 3-turn cooldown. This one goes to a 4-turn cooldown, but I don't think this is pretty much required. And overall, her kit is, I would say, very solid. Very solid for a hero we can all eventually get if RNG is on our side. So this was the video for today. Thank you all, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one. See ya.